We're live from the res here. Special guest, Mr. Emerson Joe, Native Inc. in the house. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I get here, Bennett.
It's good.
Good afternoon, relative. Thank you for having me.
Navajo Nation, your homelands. And I know recently you went out there and the call was made. They needed help and you went out there to help your people and you took some supplies and things like that. So I'm thankful to have you in here and I wanted to ask you about it, man. What was, what was the vibe and what was that journey like?
uh, the journey was it was a hard one. It was the decision, and seeing all the footage and the news about what was going on from the very start of the first two people who caught the virus, and it just erupted throughout the whole reservation, like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit close. It hit real close when the people started passing away, and the uh, one of the elders, that I know, started giving us a feedback on what was going on out there when we arrived out in Monument Valley, Ojito area, and the call that made us want to do it was that seeing all the donations go to the main towns, Tuba City, Chinle, Winter Rock, and coming out there coming out there from the mud, you know, I know where the hardships are, because I lived it. I lived in that hardship. Have relatives that live way out there in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Time came, to give back. It was already natural. I felt it in my heart and I felt it in my spirit. It said, "You must go. You gotta go." And coming from a military Marine Corps background, we were always first to fight, first to flight. We were the bullet stoppers. And serving two terms in Iraq. And coming back with that PTSD, it was kind of hard for me for a couple of years. And having to learn from it and deal from it. I got better. And when any call outs happen, ever since Standing Rock, Line 3 pipeline, No Bayou Bridge pipeline, Protect Bears Ears. And every time they put a call out, I went, because that's what warriors do. Warriors go when that call out comes, when there's wartime. But when there's no wartime, we're servants to our people. We're servants to our community. So that's where it comes from. That's where my elders. That's where my mom. That's where I got it from. I'm a warrior before I'm a hustler. I sell Native Inc clothing. I sell Natives with Attitude clothing. And I greatly appreciate everybody who's bought from me, because all that money I saved up. That's what I used to get 200 medical face masks. And as soon as I got it, I posted it, and all the money left, I took it and bought donations, and also got help from the people of Los Angeles, some people from Temecula, Rincon Reservation, Pechanga Reservation, uh, Hesperia, and also in Victorville. And they all made it happen. The tribes came together. It wasn't just res people. It was city natives. It was indigenous natives. Mexican natives. It
Mm-hmm.
was it was indigenous natives from South America. We all came together as one tribe
That's
to
beautiful,
make
man.
it
That's
happen.
beautiful. That's something you see nowadays, is like long time ago, it seemed like the dialogue there was definitely like a us them, or we them type of mentality, where it's like us natives, and then oh, those people down there are Mexican, or there's some other. But like that's one of the beautiful things in the last 10 years that I've seen. It seems like with the internet and with people coming together and social media, getting to know each other, that now we're all indigenous people from this land here. Whether you're from here in San Diego, like my people, Kumeyaay, Tipai, or whether you're from out in New Mexico or down in Central America, we're all indigenous to this land, and it's beautiful that we come together like that to
Yeah,
help,
yes.
to give, because that's what it's going to take for us to continue into the next generation.
And the great thing about it is that, all tribes came together, from the north to the south, to the west, to the east, even all the way from Hawaii. Shout out to Tina from Hawaii
Nice.
giving the face mask for the kids. And also Sofina from LA, because she also made face masks for the kids too. So I want to give that shout out, to them. And also shout out, to Danny, from the Mapuche tribe from South America. We're all coming together. The eagle and condor
Mm-hmm.
is flying, and that prophecy is happening of all of us tribe coming together as one, so we can live another 1,000 years. When we arrived to Monument Valley, we didn't call nobody. I just knew where the people that don't have running water and electricity live.
Mm-hmm.
And we contacted the chapter house. They were closed. Those are the tribal members that run the town, and they were closed. So we went to the visitor center next, and there was three Navajo ladies there that were still working, and they didn't have no mask.
They're
So
just out there in
when
the middle of
Yeah, out
like,
there in the middle of nowhere.
man.
So we pulled up on them, and we said, "Hey, hello, ladies. We're coming from California. We have donations from the people of California that want to give out to the elders that live out here. To the grandmas and grandpas that need it." And the ladies were so happy. And I pulled up. I said, "Hold on, ladies. Do you have face masks?" They're like, "No." So I ran to the truck, grabbed a couple, grabbed a stack, and threw it to them, and they put it on right there. Boom. And they were
Wow.
happy. They're like, "Yes, yes, that's what we needed." So they made a contact with the senior center of Ojeto, who the driver who drives the elders around. So she came, met us there, and we followed her to the senior center in Ojeto. And we had to take a dirt road to get all the way out there in the back of the canyon. And when we pulled up, we opened up the back of the vehicle, the back of the SUV, and we just started boxing up. We started boxing up 25 boxes of food donations, canned food, uh, canned soup, canned fruits, top ramen, water, vitamin C packs, laundry detergent, powdered laundry detergent, hand soap, toilet paper, cases of water,
One thing I saw
and,
on
and,
your
and everything. Yeah,
on your social was,
yeah,
I didn't realize this in, because I'm a Cali Indian, like we're near the stores. I want to make a mask. I'll go to down the
yeah,
store, get it, bring it back. You know what I mean? We have a lot of things that are very close to us. But out there, my first thought when this thing happened was like, we're pushed out into reservations, especially here in East County in San Diego. We're pushed out. We're gonna be able to, we're rural. We're kind of, because of that spacing, we might do better off with this thing if it's about, exposure. You think about a place like Navajo Nation. I know when I've driven through there, they're so far apart from each other. I thought, oh man, these guys are going to be okay. Because that's not what happened. They got the contact, the disease showed up there, the sickness got there, and then what should have been something that would help them, which is being so remote, turns into something that is such a hurtful thing. Because now if they are sick or they need supplies, they do need these things. They're so far away from the town. They're so far away. In a difficult situation, even more difficult. That's rough. And what I saw on I saw you on social media, I think Instagram or something. You were kind of sharing some of the stuff that you were given, and what caught my ear was that you were talking about people not having running water, refrigerators, electricity, things like that we wouldn't even think about. So it's like, oh man, send them all this stuff. But it's like, no, you need something that they can kind of store a little bit,
Yes.
canned food
Yes.
or dry stuff, and obviously, we want to give them healthy items and things like that. But it was like, it really just did something to my mind. I was like, man, yeah, that's right, man. If you're getting sick right now, you don't got a refrigerator, you don't have like, some of the bare essential type things like running water. Everyone's saying, go wash your hands, go, and it's like, well, if you don't even got running water, that's a difficult thing to
Yeah.
do to go simply wash your hands. Because when this first started, that was what people were saying. Oh, it's not a big deal. Just go wash your hands. And it's like, well, that's the easy thing to say if you have running water, if you have soap, oh, just wear a mask. That's an easy thing to do if you have a mask or you have someone near you who sews to kind of make you something. And me, even when this started, I was like, I'm not wearing no mask. But my niece, shout out Sarah Amador, I'm gonna have her and my nephew in too. She right away went up to sewing. I went over and what are you doing? She's like, oh, she had all these things laid out. She was
Mhm.
sewing masks, and she made a grip for our elders here in my res, and the next res over my wife's res, San Isabel. She made a bunch, gave them to my wife. My wife's on council. She took them up and she gave them all out to the elders so they have masks. And this mask I'm wearing right now, she made this. Like I didn't have to worry about a mask. She'd give us a couple.
Right.
So it's kind of like these are things you take for granted. You know what I mean? But if you don't have those and you're out in the remote areas and you can't access a store because the nearest store is closed down because of the stay home order, now you're just without supplies. You're out there by yourself in the middle of it and you don't have no help.
Especially when the elders are the ones taking care of their children, their grandchildren, and their great grandchildren. And when the first virus hit, the grandchildren and the great grandchildren didn't know about social distancing, so they were um, having parties, get-togethers, and
Oh.
everything. So they caught the virus. But now that they know about it, they're self-quarantined themselves now,
Mm-hmm.
and so that they don't get the grandparents sick because they're the ones who are financially taking care of them right now,
Mm-hmm.
using their social security. So right now, there's a lady, a grandma. She's 80 years old. She's taking care of her 55-year-old daughter, and her daughter has grandkids and her great grandkids. So there's four generations living in the house. No running water, no electricity. There's 300 elders that live in Ojeto Monument Valley area. That means 300 homes, 300 families. Before we left Ojeto and dropped off all the donations to the people of Ojeto and Monument Valley, we gave the donations to the people who were infected, to the grandmas and grandpas who were in the wheelchairs, to the little kids who were just running around acting like nothing was happening to them. And they were so excited when we pulled up. They let us into their house and they waited right there at the yard, waiting for us to drop the donations off. And they were all happy. Their eyes lit up, their smiles lit up, and it was a great feeling in putting masks in every donation box. I gave freaking about 14 of them in every box. And the next day, when we went back to the gas station to gas up, they all had the mask on
Mm-hmm.
and they were all wearing it 'cause they didn't have the supplies. And so the second day, we ran back out to Flagstaff. We went to a outdoor shop
Mm-hmm.
and found solar rain showers. So we was able to purchase five of them
Mm-hmm.
and then go back to the senior center to drop them off. So that's the next mission is to supply every family, every home with a solar rain shower
Okay.
so they can shower the sickness and the virus off.
Yeah.
And today we were gathering donations from Home Depot and Food for Less. Uh, there's a lady who's running a nonprofit organization named Sophia Davenport from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
She's a lady who's gonna be running the first indigenous Native American foster home in Long Beach.
Oh, wow.
And she's using her organization to help donate, write letters for us so we can get donations from Home Depot, Rouse, um, Food for Less, and
Hmm.
all the other grocery stores so we can keep making this mission every month so that every house on the reservation will get donations, will get bleach, cleaning supplies. And that's what we picked up today in at Home Depot. And then at Food for Less, we picked up Vienna sausages and we picked up fruit cups for the
Hmm.
grandchildren who are self-quarantining right now. So so we're just picking up little snacks that we get that you get from Smart and Final,
Hmm.
that will keep them good, so the families don't have to cook for them and they don't have to, get close to them and spread the virus. And next month we're going to continue on this mission on the first week of June, and all proceeds of Native Inc product, Natives with Attitude, is going to the families of Monument Valley and Ojeto. Everything I make is all going to that family.
And we're gonna try to hype up as best we can. Native Inc. Let everybody know. We'll share what we can on our social medias and everything like that. But you can find Native Inc. on Instagram and whatnot, and just go click through and get some good swag. Get some good shirts. Going for a good cause right now for sure, man.
Yes, it is. Everything is being funded through what we're doing, and I'm not trying to ask for donations. I'm just trying to sell the product so that at least people will get a piece of merchandise and know where the money is going.
Hmm.
And with everything we're doing, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep moving on. When anybody puts a call out, we're there to make that mission.
I suggest people out there, if you can't make it, you're like me. It doesn't hurt to just, you can always find an organization. You got one already set up. There's one right there, and you can Venmo. Even if you Venmo $5, that might help. Throw some gas in the car to get somebody, to get the supplies out there. That might buy one bottle of bleach, and that's better than none. You might, even if you give $1, you're buying a fruit cup for a little kid, and so that does help, and so that's what I would encourage everybody to do
Yeah,
if you could,
thank you,
if you
Bennett.
can help out, man.
Thank you, relative.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't get you out of here without asking or talking to you about your shirt, man.
Uh,
Native is with attitude. If you guys can't see it, man, I know you've seen it online. I know they probably sold it. Somebody sold you one, but this is the real guy who made up the design. I remember when you came up with that design, Native with attitude, and it blew up. I'll be honest. I even myself, I took my picture and put it on one of the Indian chiefs. Hey.
it does feel good. It does feel good that it took off and it went across the whole res, everywhere. And it started, just to pay homage to our ancestors, to our chiefs who put it down for us, who made it happen. And this shirt has Chief Joseph, it has Geronimo, it has Sitting Bull, it has Chief Red Cloud, yes, all the great chiefs on there. And what's great about it is that there's three chiefs on there: Chief Chief Joseph, Chief Red Cloud, and Sitting Bull were the three chiefs that signed the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, which was the Battle of Greasy Grass, which was when they scalped Custer's hair, his pretty blonde hair, and took the United States flag.
Yeah.
And that 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty is what the warriors established as Ocheti Shakowee, the main warrior camp of Standing Rock. Yeah, for bringing me and having us speak about what's going on out there, because we're going into the infected areas where their grandparents and their grandchildren cannot leave their house or go to the store or live so far away on the dirt road they can't even get to the store. So that's who we're hitting up, and we're doing it, for our people, all of our people, and it's time to come together. It's time to be servants to our community.
What are the high risk factors? They're like, well, obesity, diabetes, heart problem. I'm just going like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Those are all things that us Native Americans lead the nation in. Like we lead the nation in all of those adverse medical effects. So that means that we are, by population, the highest risk. We are the highest at risk population out there.
Mm.
So, when I was hearing that like late February, March, first thing I thought was like, oh my God, we're gonna get hit hard if we don't watch out. So it's a very scary time. It's like lock the res down, lock the res down.
That the tourists are still coming in. They're still camping. They're still driving through the reservation. They're still coming in, even though that the president said, all the tourist sites are shut down, and but they're still coming in,
Yeah,
camping and
gas
bringing
prices
in.
dropped. When no one was going over, the gas prices dropped, and I would see people on social media be like, "Oh, this is a great time for a road trip." It's like, no, stay home, man, stay home. And I know like a lot of people, like that was a thing for a minute. People were like, "Oh, we'll go drive through, like look at all those sites," and it's like, no, everything's closed. Stay home. What you do because, so I see so many like teenagers, like high school age and right out of high school, young 20s and stuff, and I just see them real proud, when they wear a native brand like that, when they're wearing their indigenous,
Yeah.
stuff and their hoodies and stuff, and I like right now it's graduation season, so a
Hmm.
lot of people are taking pictures with their hats and stuff like that, and I've seen people take pictures with your shirt on, with their mask and their hat,
All
and I just
right.
thought like that's cool. They're empowered by the brand. They're
Ah,
empowered by what you're saying. Like I am an indigenous person, I am a native with an attitude. And I think sometimes our native designers lose they kind of lose, or maybe I don't know, maybe they don't, but I don't know that they understand that they really do empower our people. Because I
no.
remember being, I'm a little older, but I remember being in high school and kind of looking for something to wear like that. And I
Yes.
remember Rudy Rojas, he started Native Threads brand at that time, and I
Hmm.
would wear that because it was real empowering. Like this represents us, this is us,
Yes,
made by
yes.
us, and it's us. I do see it. I see our youth wearing those shirts and those sweatshirts, and it's really empowering for them. It's cool, man. It's real good. So I hope you keep that up. If you ever need a model, let me know.
Hey,
Hey, no, I was
yeah,
just
that,
kidding.
that, that feels good because that was the main message in coming up with
Hmm.
shirts, so that our youth can hold their head up high wherever they walk around and say, "I'm native, I'm indigenous, I'm a warrior," and bringing that empowerment to our youth is what's needed,
Hmm.
because they're the ones who are going to be in our seats, in the future. So we
Hmm.
have to make sure to let them know that they are warriors, they are leaders, they are hunters, they're protectors, to the sacred, and that they're special, and that one day they're going to be the ones running this.
Yeah. I remember one time I was online and I just saw some random ad come by and someone was selling your design. I was like, oh, dude, they just robbed this guy's design. But it was cool to know that you did that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I know the guy who designed that
that's right.
NWA, and like that, and they have the Chiefs on there and stuff. And it's pretty cool, though, man.
I really
So,
appreciate it.
what would you say to these guys that are up and coming that want to get to where you're at right now? What would your advice be for them? If there's any guidance you'd give?
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. If you believe it, if you want it, get it. Don't ever let nobody tell you that you're not good enough. Don't let ever nobody tell you that you can't do it, because you can. You gotta have that mentality, like a racehorse running down that racetrack with the blinders on. You have to look at your main objective, your main goal, and you gotta flesh out everybody's talk around you like that racehorse with the blinders, and go for goals. Go for what you want in life. Because if you don't do it, when you get older, you're going to regret it. Make it happen. No matter what you want to do in life, it doesn't have to go with being a t-shirt business or anything you want in your life. Shoot for the stars. Because even if you don't make it, you're still amongst them. So go for it. And if you need any help, I'm right here. I'll help you out. I'll guide you on the hustle, you know, on anything, and it just starts with saving your money and knowing what you want and going for it.
Be built. Why are you giving these other guys a shot? You're not giving your own people a shot. So we got to give them a shot. If you know someone who owns a restaurant, go try their food out. Give them a couple shots, check it
Yes.
out. And if you know someone who's got a design, a clothing line, go buy their hats, go buy their beanies, go buy their shirts, and because what's the option to go wear somebody else's stuff that doesn't represent you or your people or anything? Like
Hmm.
I've seen people who will wear a Nike shirt, but then a Nike shirt that says native with a feather they would feel weird about wearing, which makes no sense because that represents them more than the Nike shirt,
Yes.
without the feather and or without the native on it. And especially when someone puts their real artistic, heart, their soul into a design and they're selling it. If you like it, wear it. I don't understand. It's really weird that there are people who don't want to support our own people. When people go buy jewelry, they'll go buy $10,000 earrings or bling, but then like they want to like hit up a beater and be like, oh, can I get it for cheaper? It seems like a lot of money. And it's like, no, this isn't just some beads that someone glued on
Yeah.
a. This is designer beadwork. Someone put hours of
Mhm.
their life into that. You're lucky you're getting it at a premium. You should be getting this, three times what they're asking. And things. So it's mentalities like that we have to kind of check ourselves and be like, you know what, man, we really should be asking to try to support one another as opposed to like being asked to support one another.
Experiences with non-natives and natives of stealing my designs and uh, out here in California, San Diego, and then taking it back to another state and reprinting it, and making money off the design. I know another non-native at the powwow who walks around and looks at all of our native designs and then goes back and recreates an image using our designs, and he's at every gathering, every powwow. So yeah, I know, but all that matters is that the people out there, if they like what they see, if they get it, then it's up to the people. I don't try to encourage. I don't say anything. It just depends on the person's liking. I'm gonna
That's
keep
good.
pushing.
But you don't have to say it, I'll say it. Hey, powwows, gatherings, man, try to get our own people in there, give them
Uh,
preference if you can. Because I know that like some states, like New Mexico, I think, right?
yeah,
You
an
have to have
ID, a
an
Native
ID.
American ID to make sure you're legit as a Native American vendor, seller, and everything is Native American made. So yes, that should happen in all the states and all the powwows and all the gatherings to make sure the native money stays in the native community. Because when the non-natives come in to the powwows and to the gatherings, they're taking that native money back to the native family and feeding them. When that native money should go to the native people who are selling their beads, who are selling their gourds, who are selling their traditional materials, and when they're selling their t-shirts, jewelry,
Hmm.
That money should go back to the native people so that money stays in the native people and grows to where we're bringing the people up to the same, all together, Hojo, harmony, where we all live together as one. If we see a native that's down, let's help them up to make sure we're all equal.
Yeah, I like that, man. I mean, the last thing we want to do is start to, exploit our own people. And I want to say one other thing too, man, is that gatherings and powwows and conferences, all these different functions that are in Native country, can we stop pretending that the vendors are the richest people there because they're not. That is the word. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I know people are like, oh, like a powwow's trying to make some cash, we'll
Yeah.
charge the vendors more money. And it's like, wait a minute, dude, you're charging people who have to travel. That's cost to travel. A lot of times, if it's a 2-day powwow, they have to get a hotel room, all that stuff. You're charging them to set up. You're charging them a raffle item. You're charging them all these things, and there's no guarantee that they're even going to sell anything. Especially right now, it's got to be rough, man. That everything's shut down. All these powwows are shut down. Gatherings are shut down. Everything's kind of all the cultural stuff's been shut down. We're having virtual. We had virtual. I threw together some virtual
Right, right.
gatherings. Virtual powwows, and Morongo's did a virtual powwow, and it's good to get the vibes out, the songs out, and connect social. But the vendors, man, they're not getting that love. They're not going to have that opportunity. But yeah, can we stop pretending that the vendors are the wealthiest people there, man? It's not fair. It's not cool.
When I put myself out of the situation and saw the people that have less than what we have, than what I have, I'm not living rough. I'm
Hmm.
living in a grateful. I'm grateful right now because those people out there, they're living rough.
Hmm.
They're in need. They're hurting. The grandmas and grandpas can't even visit their own children. They're locked up in their house. And when I went home, I couldn't even see my mom because the doctor said she was so vulnerable that she has to stay inside her house. And she's been quarantined inside her house for 2 months now. I couldn't even go in her yard. I had to holler from the fence, and she stood at her door. Couldn't even hug her. Can't even go inside your mom's house. That's how bad it is. And family relatives passing away, from it. And seeing it right in front of your eyes and seeing people with no water, with no electricity, but the kids are out there with it. And it's like, what are we gonna do? Why, what am I doing? What are we doing? You know? And that just made it the mission, put everything aside. It's not about us no more. It's about the people in need, and that's the big mission right now. Is to make sure that the people who are less fortunate than us at least gets a piece of something that was taken from them. Life and medicine of our people.
I don't know, man. Well, I thank you for sharing that, for sure coming and giving us the lowdown. What's going on over there. Give us a little understanding because we don't see it. It's not like I said. The media is not going to cover that. We know that. And people aren't traveling, so you're not seeing a lot of images coming out. Unless you have family that comes from that nation, you're not really seeing too much. So I know people's thoughts and prayers have got to be in that direction. I'm sure. And but for anybody out there wanting to donate and go out there and look for ways to do that, go look for ways that you can help. You might have your own unique way to help, but you can of course hit up Native Inc. On Instagram, um, and you buy, and whatever you buy right now, as you said, proceeds go to that. Hit them up, directly, and maybe there's ways if you have an organization, maybe your organization can help. We're gonna put all the information here at the end, but out in LA, there's an organization helping right now, as you spoke, and so with that, man, thank you for coming in, Mr. Emerson Joe, Native Inc.
Yes. Yeah.
Live from the res, ladies and gentlemen. Stay healthy and love one another. Peace.